All right, good evening. This is Peter Rezacek from ShadowTrader.net and the Weekly Options Room. And title of this video is Things Done Changed. And have they changed? That's the big question. We use the tools we have in front of us to tell us if there's major change. And two of those tools are the 8 and 21 EMAs. And you can see on the SPX, we've just now started to breach the 8, but we are still well above the 21. I think there's potential for a little bit more weakness in the market, taking us to that 21, which would put the S&P cash down to about 63.70, call it. And the reason I say that is because the weakness is really not in the S&P, it's in the rest of the market, mainly in the NDX and in tech and especially in AI stuff today, which I'll get to in a second. But you can see the difference here clearly, how the NDX smashed through the 8, went all the way down to the 21 and kind of parked itself there. And this is kind of noteworthy because we haven't seen the 21 that often in this index. So we'll see if that actually can move lower. And I don't know if this is a target or not. But the fact is that there was definitely a shift in tone today in tech, because that's really what was driving the market much, much lower. Most notably in stocks like NVIDIA. You can see it did the exact same thing, cracked the 21 with a pretty ugly candle. And also Palantir, which is another AI name, that actually, I thought this was very interesting in that it lost the prior high breakout point. Usually stocks will bounce on the breakout. This one filled the gap and lost that. And in doing so, I'm not sure if this actually breaks trend as well. That would be very, very important, right? You can go like this. Yeah, it actually broke trend. You can see that. So that's kind of noteworthy. So that, because of that trend line break, that tells you that Palantir could easily see this next low, which is down in here, which would put the stock somewhere around the 150 area. So about $7 lower would be the first stop. Other names of note that were down quite a bit. I'm just going to show you just a couple. Netflix had quite an ugly day, as did Avgo, also losing the 21, and also Meta. Meta coming down below its 21. So a lot of this stuff losing kind of key moving averages, and that leads me to think that there could be potential for a little bit lower. If you look in under the hood of the S&P, obviously XLK is going to mirror the tech stuff. This is and look very much like the NASDAQ 100. But notice like what financials did here. Lower high, and it's actually 3 tops here. This is 1, 2, 3. And this one's kind of lower. And I'm wondering if this, sort of balance here, people will be disappointed if the stocks actually move lower, which actually they could, right? There is potential that they could actually move lower. Let's see, XLY, which is consumer discretionary. Interesting, right? Kind of a topping tail. And this is a pretty big sector. This is actually the 3rd largest sector in the market right now, which has taken over healthcare a long time ago. It's actually 10.4% of the market. And you see the little kind of reversal bar there. Just one day, one data point. I've said many times before, I'm not a big believer in the whole hammer thing, or it's an inverted hammer or whatever. But just pointing out that the sector does, for the most part, look toppy. And let's just look at healthcare while we're at it. Healthcare was actually quite bullish today, held up okay. So sector-wise in the S&P, it's a little bit tricky because you had a decent down day with S&P's off 37. But if I drag this over here, look at what the sector boxes, so to speak, look like. Right? This is all of the advances and declines from the open in percentage of these 11 sectors that make up the S&P. And again, here's the culprit and here, but you can't deny, everything else here that performed really well. And again, from the open, that's the most important thing. So even if there's gaps for earnings and things like that, it doesn't mean anything. We're talking about just from the open, which is all that matters. So you saw some strength in a lot of other sectors. So I would say that kind of leads me to believe it's not like a guaranteed short. It's like potential that we move lower, right? Last but not least, I want to leave you on Bitcoin and gold, because Bitcoin had quite a rout today. This is a big decline in Bitcoin, and it's really kind of a do or die level, I feel, because these are the prior high breakout points right around this 113. Notice that here you had a double bottom retesting, made the higher high, hit the 125, and now you're retesting this area. So this is very, very important that we hold this area. I would continue to watch this as kind of like a bull bear line. I always say that there, you know, a lot of stuff like this can always undercut and come back. So that may be something you may want to look at if there's weakness. Don't buy yet. Don't just pick the low, but see if it retakes that 113 area and then be a buyer and see what happens on the way up. And last but not least, I'm going to just take a look at gold for a second. On this particular contract, GCV25 is the active, and I don't think there's anything wrong here. I'm still looking to be a buyer. I'm not short any gold futures puts currently. That's usually my MO, is to short the puts on the futures, and sometimes I do covered calls on the futures. And this is, for me, that's relatively odd because I don't like covered calls at all, but I do like them in the gold futures, being long the gold futures and selling the calls, because gold has a propensity for long periods of time to kind of go nowhere, and those premiums reset every 24 hours, and you can usually make like $10 a day per contract, which is kind of nice. It doesn't really go anywhere. So I think this is still bullish. I didn't see any major advance in the dollar today that would lead me to believe that that's going to be a problem for gold. Dollar was up just a little bit, not a big deal. So I'm still probably going to be looking to buy gold futures contracts close to the 3,300 area, where there has been proven to be some support before, all right? So that's about it. So things done changed. We'll see. I mean, I think they definitely have changed, certainly in the NASDAQ. There's definitely this movement here in the NASDAQ that's a bit lower, but the question is it going to bleed into the S&P, because some of those sectors are still looking a lot stronger than others. Hey, this is Peter from ShadowTrader.net, and I just wanted to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and if you'd like to trade live with me every day in my weekly options advisory, then check out the link in the description below. I wish you good trading, and I'll see you in the room.